the unicorn dartboard came out, and £75. Absolutely mega prices. I was a bit shocked myself. I personally know that dartboards should be going up in price. The shipping to get dartboards over now is basically 3 times more expensive. Yeah. The shipping crates that all the dartboards come in, they have gone so high up in price. So I don't. People have to understand that that's just the industry. That's not. Now, yeah. That's not anyone being greedy. I mean, Brexit has had a knock-on effect.
We did it to ourselves, guys. Yeah. We did it to ourselves.
But even £75, and I mean, the darts referee and Wayne Mardle had a little bit of a, not a ding dong, but there was a bit of a jibe at Jack because he did a stress test of the dartboard. He didn't review it or anything. He just see how they hold up with the Simon Whitlock points and stuff like that. And yeah, it's. I just want to know. I guess I kind of talked to the chat a little bit on this. Is I just know a lot of people were very like, wow, that's ridiculous. How can a brand do that? I won't be getting it when there's Red Dragon that give you 3 non-perfect quality boards for like £80.
Well, let's jump straight in with the stress test and things like that. One thing to get clear from the off is no dartboard on this planet that exists now or exists in the future can cope with the aggressive points. It's impossible.
They'll be damaged anyway.
Whatever you put in, it's going to pull it out. Soon as, because the point goes in, it'll get into the sizewell. The aggressive points will, the grip in there will pull it out. It's impossible not to have that. So that is something we're going to have. Now, I think, like I think you said it on your live stream, the proof will be in the pudding in terms of how we get with the darts. The main thing and the main change of this board was not to live against aggressive points. It's impossible. It can't be done.
Stop us using them.
It's to it's to be the replacement for it. To say, because what the issue was the darts, or this is Simon Whitlock gets a lot of flack for the boards, and I've spoke to Simon and heard Simon talk about points many a times. The issue was that the darts boards wasn't packed tightly enough, so they was a bit soft. So when his darts went in them, they droop. So they dropped him. So he came up with, because he was telling us in Germany, I think it was, that he made darts out of Allen keys, points out of Allen keys. So they're square. So when it went in, instead of dropping, it was ideally to try and stick in. And then over time, these points became more and more aggressive that people was using, and that's what's pulling out the threads. The idea is that if we can get the boards to the point where it doesn't drop, because it's a firmer board, so the dart won't sit in and drop, that people won't need to use aggressive points. I think once the equipment gets to that point, I think there's going to be some rulings coming in regards to what is a legal point. And I think there'll be an industry approved point where they say you can't use that point in competition or in games. And I think between the DRA, the PDPA and the PDC, there'll be like a level, and they'll be like, it can't be more than this level of aggression on the point. I think that's the way forward with that. In terms of the boards, on the eye, because that's all I've got to go on at the moment, because
they look very good.
I'm not too keen on the look of the Target one.
Oh yeah.
I just think it looks a little bit soft tip on the eye.
Yeah.
It looks like when you go into like a bar in Europe and they've got like the soft tip ones in there.
Oh, I think I know what you mean.
It just looks a bit like that, and you know, it's not that there's a wrong, and I like the fact they've got the branding going around the outside, because one of the things I hate is the branding being upside down and things like that. So I like the 360 brown. I don't like it's the numbering. I'm not keen on the numbering. So I think I'd probably have to try them out a little bit to see. But in terms of the dartboards, we haven't had a new dartboard out for years, so I was really quite excited to try those out.
MDK Games says a good point. I thought the Unicorn board did great on Jack's video. Yes, I totally agree with you. And Jack even said that with the normal points, this is the thing that is the real test, is how do the normal points work in the board to maybe warrant us not needing to use those points. For me, I use points with a bit of grip on because I touch the point I don't use it for any other purpose. But I think, for example, the ones with the sherbety coating in, they're brutal. Any two ground crisscrossy, it's really really difficult. Um, Again, I can't say it's a bad board because I haven't tried it, and I think the players are going to be the biggest testers. I don't think it was a board designed for us as people at
No.
home.
No.
I think it was a board. I think it was a bit of a political board, to be honest with you, because a lot of players have moaning about the boards before, a lot. And I think the fact that they've got PDC approved on the board kind of, for me, guarantees that they've got the contract for the next, because what is it, another year ended on the contract for the boards? I'm pretty sure they'll have carried on with that contract. So
Mo's asked there about the aggressive points. It's purely, a lot of the time, for the angle of the dart. It's not so much to make them grip into the board, it's the angle in which they grip into the board.
yeah, that was Simon's reasoning, wasn't it? Anyway, and also soft spots in the board.
Yeah.
That's what Simon was saying, wasn't it? There's soft or hard spots in the board, and I think Simon, because he has this so upright, sometimes they tended to droop, like he would go in and then go, "Rrr," and obviously Simon will want to clatter into them, sort of
Yeah.
like that. So yeah, and then obviously that's the board battle. Again, like you said with the target board, I've seen a lot of quality issues come through today on social media. Holes around the board. I think for me the unicorn board looks a better quality, but the target board is not a bad price. And if you like the small, I personally prefer the big bright numbers on a board because, I mean, can you imagine Jose if he can't see the numbers properly, or someone like Ryan Searle throwing at a board where he can't barely see the numbers? But I think for a home board, maybe it's great, but you know,
I think there's always an expression in life, isn't there? You get what you pay for.
yes,
And I think now what we want to see is we want to see exactly that expression be reality. Do you get what you pay for when you buy a £75 dartboard? Do you get a better quality dartboard than if you bought a £50 dartboard, or £40 dartboard, or £30 dartboard? They're the questions that will be answered in the next 6 to 12 months.
yes.
And it'll be interesting, maybe we'll be able to have a little chat about that again in the future.
Yeah, because I hope